So what we're going to focus on today is I know that I've spoken to you a bunch about figuring out what your point of differentiation is in the practice, right? What makes you different? What makes you stand out? What makes you not a commodity amongst all the other doctors and chiropractors out there? Well, what's a commodity? Well, let's take countertops. Granite countertops is my example. That's a commodity. Uh, there's nothing special about the granite. Granite is granite. It just comes in all different colors and styles. So it's a commodity because it's just based on price. Most of the styles and the colors are all the same. So it's just based on price. It's just going to go to the lowest bidder. That's a commodity. You don't want to be a commodity doctor. You want to be a doctor that stands out, that is special, that is unique, that has a unique mechanism. That's a little different. And I'm talking about you as the doctor in your clinic. What's your point of differentiation in the clinic? Is your diagnosis skills or whatever your skills are that you want to share in your meetings with attorneys, is that those skills produce value drivers for the case. A value driver is what increases the value of the personal injury case. You start talking about value drivers and that you know how to do them, attorneys listen. So that's a point of differentiation in your business. But in your meetings, whether they be a Zoom call, a lunch, a meeting in your office, a meeting in their office, you want to have a life resume, not just your career and work resume, but you want to have a life resume. And in that life resume, you're going to talk about what makes you unique. So let me just give you an example. This is really good. So I have a doctor in the program, and whenever he goes into a Zoom or a lunch meeting, whenever he's going to talk to a new doctor as an introduction, he has two stories in his back pocket, two stories from his life resume that's going to make him stand out. So let me give you an example. So I don't remember attorneys because they got a $70 million settlement or $150 million settlement or whatever they promote on their billboards. All that says to me is, great, you're doing your job. You're supposed to do that. But that's not going to make me remember you. Lots of attorneys get $5 million settlements, $50 million settlements. I mean, it just happens. It's in the industry. That's not going to make me remember you. You know who I remember? I remember the attorney that drives Ferraris and gets paid for it as a professional. He drives Ferraris. I also remember the attorney, Scott, who is an actor here in Atlanta. He gets acting gigs because, Georgia now is the Hollywood of the South. A lot of the LA studios have now moved into Atlanta, and they're producing a lot of TV shows, movies. If you stay through the credits into the movies, you'll see a big Georgia peach. It says Georgia on it. That means it was filmed here in Atlanta or in Georgia somewhere. I remember that attorney because he acts, he gets parts in TV shows and movies. So let's talk about you as the doctor building your life resume, or talking about your life resume, not just your work resume. Here's what I mean by that. So I talked about this Cairo. He's got these two stories in his back pocket. So while he's talking, they say, tell me a little bit about yourself. And the doc goes, well, I'm actually the chiropractor for Live Nation in my area. Live Nation puts on big, concerts, like first-rate concerts. And he tells a story, I got to adjust Beyonce and her team. I also, adjusted when they were in Lincoln Park. And a few months after I adjusted the lead singer, Chester Benningfield, he passed away. But, I'm the chiropractor for Live Nation in my area. And let me tell you this story. I got to adjust or was invited down to the arena to adjust Justin Bieber and his team. His dancers, his singers, his bandmates, whoever needed chiropractic care, he is available there during their concert. And it was a 2 or 3 day concert in this one place. So he gets there, he meets Justin Bieber, does his adjustment. But this is what he said. He said, hey Justin, I got to ask you a question. I got a 10-year-old daughter. She's your biggest fan. You don't know how much it would make her day, her just, it would just put that smile on her face. And for me as a dad, is there a way, he was invited back. Can I bring her tomorrow? I'll keep her out of your way just to meet you for a second. He says, absolutely. What's her name? Get with my assistant. I want you to come in here at this time. I will be there for her. And, blah, blah, blah. They got it all. They worked out all the logistics. So the next day, he takes his daughter to this hotel, and there's just a line of people, mostly little girls, screaming, waiting for a glimpse at Justin Bieber. And my doctor friend, he's taking his daughter by the hand as of like almost treated like a VIP, walks past all this line of people. This is a story he's telling. I get to the room where he's staying, and we can hear Justin Bieber singing. He's warming up his voice. He's just loosening up. He's singing. And then she came out. He came out, and he sat down with my daughter and asked her questions. And what's your favorite song? I mean, he said, Justin Bieber couldn't have been any nicer or more accommodating to my daughter. And I'll go ahead and share my screen with you now. This is what he takes out of his pocket during the story to share with the attorneys. There's my daughter. And that was her moment with Justin Bieber. I'm going to remember that fucking story. You better believe it. Right? Oh, that's the doctor that does all the concerts and gets to meet all the rock stars and pop stars. He got to meet Justin Bieber. He's the chiropractor to the stars. That's part of his life resume. That doesn't show up in office notes, his billing, his diagnosis. But it shows up when attorneys are like riveted to his story and they remember that doctor because of his life resume and his point of differentiation of his life, which is unique, special, and different from everybody else trying to get attorneys' businesses. So work on your life resume. What are a few stories you can share with attorneys that are going to make, they're your stories. They're unique to you. And no one else has them. And it's going to be I remember that guy, that doctor. He's the one that, for example, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, I'll talk about my clinic, and those value drivers is the point of differentiation. But what I'll also do is, well, I grew up in this city. I actually speak 3 languages. I actually have a sister that's deaf. So if you count sign language, I speak 4 languages. And I just took a trip with my family to Kenya and Nairobi for a safari over the summer. And I have pictures to show you. It was amazing. That's the point of differentiation in that guy's life. No one has a story like that, right? Speaks 3, 4 languages, has a deaf sister. And, maybe he's the chiropractor for the Dallas Cowboys, whatever. That's going to make them remember you. That's your life story point of differentiation. So I just wanted to share that little tidbit with you and that little value nugget, because I know you will get caught up in talking about, we do this and we have this service and we do CBP and we're certified to do that. And listen, man, these attorneys, they really don't care if you're certified in K-tape and kinesiology. Can you produce a good bill? Can you take care of my clients? And can we make a lot of money together? That's their pain points, right? They don't care that you have, 500 Google reviews. I mean, maybe they might, but lots of doctors have Google reviews. Lots of doctors have digital X-ray. Lots of doctors have, all these services and modalities, but nobody has the same life resume. So if you really want to stand out and you really want to make a difference and you really want to be remembered, come up with your life resume. Come up with a few stories that are unique to you that will blow the socks off of the attorneys in your meetings and make them remember you. That is the lesson for today. Not just a point of differentiation in your practice and how you handle your work, but the point of differentiation in your life story, in your life resume that you can share with these attorneys that will make them remember you, right? They're not going to remember all your services and modalities because they duplicate hundreds of other guys, but they'll remember you with a unique life story.